boys and girls, and welcome to Gordon Guitar, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Poster Child. So this one is funk all over it. Cool song from Red Hot Chili Peppers as always. So we need to start the song here. No need for any capo and 5 chords to handle. So let's start with those first. We have the G7, that is 3rd on E, 2nd on A, open D, open G, open B, and 1st E. Next chord is the C7. We choose to play that with a bar chord to get this high notes up here. So that will be a bar on the 3rd fret from the A string and down. So 5 strings, and the rest will be 5th on D string and 5th on B string. The next chord will be A sharp. So you need to bar the 1st fret here from the A string and down, so 5 strings. And the rest will be 3rd on D, 3rd on G, and 3rd on B. Next is A minor. That is open A, 2nd D, 2nd G, 1st B, and open E. And the final chord will be D7. So that is open D, 2nd G, 1st B, and 2nd E. So there we have the chords. Now we need to look at how to handle the chords. And we will look at one strumming pattern here. And it will be not perfect all the time because this is a very playful song. And they're great in their instruments, so they play and going back and forth like this, but this is a very good base for the song. It will work through the entire song if you wish. So that's what I'm gonna give you. So let's start with the G7. That is the 1st chord, and I'm gonna give you one strumming round first, and I'm gonna show you how it's done. So let's go. Okay, so that was one round. So that is down, short break, and then down, down, up, down. So down, 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 up, down, and then down, up. And that's it. So down, 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 up, down, down, up. That is one round. Down, 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 up, down, down, up. Okay, so that means you don't have to really play everything very loud and clear. When it comes to downs and ups, you can swallow a couple of these downs and ups, and that is what gives this cool funky effect on it. So what I mean by that is so you see and notice that I'm not playing downs and ups like this full. I'm just kind of dancing on the strings in between the downs. So the ones that is good to emphasize is the 1st down, and then the 2nd down, and then in between there, the next coming ups and downs, you can kind of just play lightly on the strings, and then on the down up in the end you can emphasize that as well. So down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, 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 up. That will give you this cool effect. It's not like that through the entire song if you listen to Red Hot Chili Pepper, but it works for you if we want to perform this song. That will be a great base to have. Okay. So with that said, we'll go through the different chords now. We have the 1st verse. It will go back and forth with one strumming round for each chord, and the chords are G7 and C7. All right. So for 3 rounds, it will play G7, C7, like this. that is 1 round times 3, and that is the first verse. All right. Then comes the first refrain here, and we have G7, then C7, G7, C7, G7, C7. All right. So that is how it's done. You have like 2 rounds of that chord progression there, the G7 and C7. So you just continue the same way of strumming there, same way of playing the same chords. Now only for 2 rounds. That takes us to the second verse. And it's pretty similar to the first one. The only difference here is it's for 3 rounds. But on the last third round, instead of playing the G7, C7, you put in the D7 there instead of the C7. So total second verse will be G7, C7, G7, C7, G7, and D7. That's the last chord. For 3 rounds, D7 and end. That is the second verse. Then comes the first chorus. It goes in the same way here, in the same way as we just learned, G7, C7 for 3 rounds. And on the 4th round, you play G7 and D7. I can demonstrate this for you, this first chorus, in total of 4 rounds. So let's start with the G7. G7, C, G7, C, G, C, and 4th round is G7 and D7 now. Alright, so that was the first chorus. That takes us to the 3rd verse. Okay, and that is played in the same way as the first verse. And why I split and divide this into different, well, I mentioned just the first verse is because the ending, okay? So no D7 there in end, just the C7 for 3 rounds, and that is the 3rd verse. Then comes the second refrain, played in the same way as the first one, 2 rounds of G7, C7. Okay, then after that comes the first verse, played with this D7 in the end, so that means played in the same way as the second verse. Okay, 3 rounds in total, but in the 3rd round you play the D7 instead. Okay, and then comes the second chorus, played in the same way as the other choruses, the first one. And after this second chorus comes a bridge part. In the lyrics, you got me on this. So that's what they say. So now is where we need to use the new chords here. The A sharp, A minor, G7, C7, and D7. That is the chord progression. Okay, I will play this through for you. Okay, so let's go for 1 round of this, and we will play that for 2 rounds in total. Okay, so it sounds like this. Okay, so that was 1 round. Okay, so it starts with A sharp. It's down, down. So 2 downs in total, but down, down. And then comes the A minor right after, down, and then you shift to G7 and play in the same way as the A sharp, down, down. Okay, so that's the rhythm. So A sharp, A minor, G7, like that, okay? Then comes the C7, down, up, pretty fast like that. Like that. And then you play the D7, down, 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 up. You play that for 2 rounds, so down, 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 up, down, 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 up. And that will be 1 chord progression. All right, so let's go over this one more time. A sharp, down, down, A minor, 1 down, and then G7 down, down, and then C7 down, up, and then comes the D7 down, down, up, down, down, up. All right, so I'm gonna play through 2 rounds for you now, this bridge part, so you understand how it's done. So let's go. Alright, so that is how it's done. That's a bridge part for 2 rounds, and that takes us to the 4th verse. That is played in the same way as the first one. That means without the D7, you play the C7 instead. Otherwise, in the same way. Next comes the refrain, played in the same way as the other ones. And that follows after that with the 5th verse. This one is played in the same way as the other verse with the D7 in the end. All right, so nothing changes there. And then follows 3rd and 3rd chorus there. That will be played in the same way as the other ones, and then it comes for 2 rounds. You can say it's twice as long as the other choruses. So you just continue, play this like it's kind of 2 choruses right after each other. And after that comes this final outro part, and that is played in the same way as you play the bridge part that we just looked at, with this A sharp, A minor, and so on. You will play that chord progression for 4 rounds, and that will end this cool song, Poster Child from Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I hope this was helpful, and you will see that when you play in this way, it will not match up exactly how it's done in the song, and that is kind of how funk works. It's not just black and white, it's alive, and you have to do it in your way and play with it. So good luck with this one, guys. Hope to see you soon, and don't forget, play tuned.